Awesome, awesome. We have a lot of new people here today, right? Thank you everyone to take some time from your day and be here with us. We are really close to 10K. I feel that we can hit 10K today. Our Discord is blowing. Hey, Baki, are you here? Let's wait our boss Baki come back. But nice to have you all here, guys. Today we are going to have a very special one here. His name is Aaron. Guys, can anyone hear Baki? No. Hey, Baki, the people are saying that they cannot hear you. He's just tweaking on some stuff here, guys. Wait a little bit, please. We want to hear you, man. He's trying to fix it, guys. Okay, give us some time. I will be today's clown for you.
Hey,
All
everyone.
right. Perfect.
How you doing, Marcos? How's your Friday?
Awesome. I just want to feel 10K today. Today
Yeah.
is 10K day.
10K, man. You know, we are nearly having a 5x this month. No,
From
I
2K,
have
10K, and
yeah,
1 month.
I have a print. We reached 2K in 11 of June.
Awesome, awesome. I would love to see the other mods here today, right? So today is this very special day. We have an awesome AMA, but we are here to celebrate a bunch of things, right? So we are seeing all-time highs on Bitcoin,
Yeah.
right? So it's a party for everyone. The market wants to grow again. The project's growing as well. I just need today's Baki.
Hope your portfolios are green today.
Let's see. So guys, if you are old here, please help the new ones, okay? I know that you usually do not ask this kind of things, but today our Moose chat is crazy. Indonesian chat is crazy as well. Every chat is crazy as well. So please help the new ones. We are looking to everyone.
Check. Hello?
Easy.
Hello. No, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, we can hear me now. Wow, okay, that was weird.
Perfect.
Guys, want to give it a couple more minutes, put on some music? Olaran, can you also make a post in community updates or whatever it's called? Moose updates, please. And
Yeah.
kind of ping everybody. There's a lot of new people that didn't have the notification.
I will just ping everyone again.
Awesome. So Baki, can you say to the people what we are going to talk about today?
I'm still letting people come in, but we're going to talk about like DataHaven and building DataHaven. Aaron, who's our head of operations, he's the one that built Moonbeam, and now he's building DataHaven, so he's in control of, the actual chain operations and how they're going to be built. He can go more into that, but that's kind of the idea. And for all the new people, I guess we'll go into a little bit like what is DataHaven, because like there's so many new people here. I think it's important to go over this one more time. I was laughing when you said for all the old people to please help the new people.
All the grandpas in the chat, please help.
If you are here for plus 1 month, you are old. You have gray hair as well.
And a huge welcome to all our new members, because we have a lot today.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys saw Telegram, but Telegram is going crazy. We're almost 3,500 people on Telegram. We were at like 300 this morning.
Yeah, man. I literally saw like when I was waking up, we are like 7K, and then you guys like just pinging, we had 8K, and now we have 9.
My Telegram can't even keep up with all the messages. It just starts freezing.
Hey, Olera, I want to ask before everything starts. Can you please help the new ones to understand what kind of events do we have here on the
Yeah.
Discord? I feel that people
So
like soccer, right? And they like some Rambo, some kind of
yeah,
things.
I will post in the chat our last this week announcement about the activities. So this is the last. No, we're gonna have a just a spoiler for you guys. We will have a karaoke this Sunday. So everyone want to sing a little. You have like 2 minutes to sing. You can like look for karaoke on maybe YouTube or anything. You can look for the lyrics and the best ones maybe can something. We're gonna do like a The Voice, like everyone. I can like be on camera and press the button and turn my chair for you.
It doesn't have to be 2 minutes. They can sing as long as they want, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure how
but
long people will want to sing for.
yeah, if you want to sing more, just you can sing. But if everyone can sing for 5 minutes, we can be like all day here. If you're good, you can sing, no problem. If you want like to sing in a group, maybe we can work it too. So it wasn't announced yet, but we are doing this karaoke.
And
I will post it.
do not need to be only on English, right? So if you
Yeah,
speak Portuguese, if you speak like alien, please do however you want.
yeah, you can speak your native language or any language you want, because the idea is to sing. Because if I start to sing in English here, it will be like not so good for your ears. So it's okay. The idea is to everyone to have fun and then some acorns and some keys. No. I will post in the chat about the this week activities so everyone can like understand more how they're doing. But I can say it on
Oh, so and
quiz.
some new ones they were asking. So how can we get the moose tag, right? How can we open their door? What is that? So can you give them a small explanation? What is the moose door?
Yeah, the moose door for now is like our like VIP club. Moose door is the flow you get when we'll spend like I think it's 27 keys right now, and we have some plans for the moose doors. There can be our buddies in the future, maybe literally. And the moose doors right now is the people who get the most benefits of server.
Yeah, you can
So
see that this shining tag that has a lot of colors. So right now,
yeah,
how many?
I think we have like 33, and we have this cool roll, by the way.
I
And
think so too.
if the the have tag, you can just click on the DataHaven name up in the top of our Discord, and click on the server tag, and you can after you get the tag, you can open a ticket and you get a key for it.
Cool.
So for
So
the go on.
just to be clear, people can engage, earn some acorns, and trade it for the keys. Use the keys to become a moose door, right?
Yeah, you can use the Moose Market to buy a lot of things with your keys. So farm those keys.
Cool.
And how you can farm. Yeah, everyone who's participating here, you get 4 acorns. That's the biggest number of acorns you can earn every week, because we have quiz on Monday, we have a rumble on every Wednesday, and we have an event Friday. So we are having poker, and now we have the ZMA. Poker have everyone can earn 3 acorns. In the rumble, you can earn 1 acorn for participation, and quiz earn 2.
Perfect.
And if you
So
win, you get 1 more.
awesome, awesome, and thank you, Samurai, for the Discord activation here. Okay, so please, everyone, welcome Aaron, our guest. Back is your time. Please help yourself, help everyone to understand what is Moonbeam. What is DataHaven?
Hey guys, so hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Becky, for organizing all of this. Yeah, so just before we get into kind of what DataHaven is, what's it all about, just to give a quick little bit about me and my background. I've been in tech for a very long time. I guess I don't really want to show just how old I am, but let's just say at least a couple of decades of technical leadership roles across cloud infrastructure, SaaS, and then most recently, of course, Web3. So I am head of engineering and operations for DataHaven, and also been involved, head of operations for the Moonbeam Foundation, and working on Moonbeam, where I ran in various roles in Moonbeam Foundation over the last 3 years, strategy, engineering, operations. And then prior to that, I was actually in the Web2 space for many years, where I worked with a group of we started as a group of 4 and built a unified communications platform that grew to be over 700 people and $100 million a year business. So that was fun, but it got to be very big, and Web3 was calling, and it really attracted me to get back to kind of smaller teams. And just the whole, I don't know, I just was really really like the idea of sort of decentralization and smaller teams, but working together in a decentralized way to advance sort of the Web3 ethos. So anyway, that's just a bit about me. I'm based in Canada, so don't this I may sound a lot of people might assume American, but I am Canadian. So, and then I guess with that, yeah, what is DataHaven, right? So DataHaven is, in short, an AI first storage layer 1. It's built on Substrate. It's secured by EigenLayer restaking, and it is fully EVM compatible. So dApps get Ethereum level security with native programmable storage. And why did we come up with DataHaven? Well, we feel that it fixes today's storage gap. So Web 2, as we all know, is very centralized. It's censorable, and then meanwhile, there are various Web 3 storage offerings out there, but they live on separate chains, which forces developers to juggle bridges and wallets, and introduce extra trust assumptions. So DataHaven has really kind of 4 sort of, I guess, pillars or guarantees to it. So one, and for those of you who have like digested the light paper, this will be familiar to you. So first, it's tamper-proof, right? It was protected by cryptographic proofs that guarantee the integrity of your data. It's verifiable, so it allows things like AI-generated models to remain auditable and accountable, and it's censorship resistant, ensuring that there's no single entity that controls access and can censor the data. And then lastly, we're building DataHaven so it's optimized for AI. So it's designed for federated learning, AI agents, and machine learning workflows. So that's kind of what DataHaven is in short, and why DataHaven. Maybe I'll pause there in case there are questions on that, or Baki, if you certain direction you want to take this, I'll open it up. But as I'm overseeing engineering, I come from this as more of a less from the sort of BD side. That would be more Ryan, who's off on vacation right now. I'm coming at this more from a technical side, so I'm happy to get into some how it's built and so forth, or where we are in the roadmap. But anyway, Baki, maybe you want to
Yeah.
me in here and direct the
Yes.
conversation.
I was just thinking that you don't even need me over here. You can just take over the whole stage. But no, appreciate you sharing all that background information. Yeah, we did an AMA with Ryan. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and he really gave us kind of the idea from the BD side. And since then, we had a lot of questions in various channels from the developer side, and I appreciate you jumping into those questions.
Yeah,
People are interested about like AVS and like how DataHaven will be built on Ethereum and how AVS works, or what is even liquid restaking. We can also kind of take this into direction of why is data storage even important, and maybe we can even do like Seiko's experiment that he kind of talks about frequently.
Sure. Well, let me start with because I do think there's a lot of confusion around EigenLayer and AVS and all this kind of thing, because you know what, it is confusing. Even to me, it's very confusing. And so when we think about like, well, what is an AVS exactly? And really what it boils down to is an AVS, to have an AVS is basically to have a smart contract, a set of smart contracts on Ethereum that conform to a specification for the EigenLayer protocol. But when we talk about an AVS, so an autonomous verifiable service, and they've even changed the acronym a few times, what it stands for a few times, which adds to the confusion. But when we talk about that, what we really mean is that you've got this decentralized service, and it could be a chain like ours. It could be like a layer 1 chain, but it could be anything. It could be an Oracle service. It could be a ZK coprocessor. It could be a bridge, whatever. But the idea is you want to have it's decentralized, and there's a bunch of nodes that need to be run. Somebody's got to run those nodes, and the EigenLayer protocol and the AVS contracts that are deployed help to coordinate who is going to run these nodes and how they're going to get paid. So EigenLayer creates this marketplace where operators can come and they can opt in and say, hey, yeah, I'd like to run nodes for this service. And meanwhile, the service, the people kind of behind the service, foundations or the technical groups or whoever it is that are sort of launching the service, they also have a say in terms of what operators can run the service. And when they both agree, then they get onboarded to run the node, and they can earn rewards or get slashed potentially if they are not running it properly. So why would we use EigenLayer instead of at all, kind of thing? Well, the main reason is because they have this marketplace, and you have all these people that are already running other kinds of nodes, and they've got all this ETH stake behind them. It's an easy way to attract quality node operators with a lot of economic stake. So rather than us having to go out and recruit a bunch of people to run nodes and then try to attract all that economic stake to secure the DataHaven network, we can just kind of use EigenLayer, kind of outsource that responsibility. And so some of you, I'm sure, are probably familiar with Moonbeam. So maybe if I kind of do a quick analogy to Moonbeam. On the Moonbeam side, like Moonbeam, for those of you that don't know, is a parachain or a rollup that runs on top of the Polkadot network. And there's similarity here because Moonbeam has like block producers, but it doesn't have validators. Polkadot has the validators. And so it's a little bit similar in the sense that we're outsourcing on Moonbeam the actual block validation and the economic security for the block validation to Polkadot. So in a similar vein with DataHaven, we're doing that, only this time we're doing it with EigenLayer. And then another reason why, we kind of picked EigenLayer, and because the alignment with the Ethereum ecosystem, because we kind of feel that, the activity these days where developers are at and so forth seems to be centered around a couple of different ecosystems, and these change and so forth. And I think, but there has been a lot of activity around Solana, and then there just continues to be a lot around the Ethereum ecosystem. And I mentioned earlier how, some of these other platforms like Arweave and Filecoin and so forth, they're these standalone, these standalone chains. And now you're making trust assumptions about other tokens, the economic value of those and whether they'll be valuable long term and continue to secure the network. You've got different kinds of wallets. You got to set up bridges or just do all the integration at the client side. By aligning with Ethereum, we were saying, hey, we're also, you can build an application that only depends on the economic security of Ethereum. And also you can use the same wallets. And there's already a bunch of bridges and ecosystem compatibility there. And in fact, DataHaven will have a native bridge built into it, native trustless bridge built into the protocol directly to Ethereum, so that we can, and it's mainly to do the integration with EigenLayer, but it will also support doing transfers of tokens back and forth and things like that. And ultimately, applications on Ethereum or other rollups will be able to, from remotely from other chains, they'll be able to leverage storage features on DataHaven. So that's, hopefully that clears up things a little bit about how EigenLayer fits in the picture, and what an AVS is. But happy to, if people do have questions, just please go ahead and launch them. And Neil, you raised so many different things we could talk about, and I went on a
no, it's no problem.
thing.
I think it's good for everybody to know that DataHaven is not being built on Moonbeam. It's being built on Ethereum, so it'll be an Ethereum project. And then it will be secured through the liquid restaking that Aaron was just talking about through
I guess
EigenLayer.
just on liquid restaking. So maybe just to expand on that a little bit. And so DataHaven is its own layer one. But it's leveraging Ethereum security and the EigenLayer protocol and integrated with Ethereum. But it is not built on Moonbeam. It's separate. It utilizes a lot of the same components. We're using Substrate, which Moonbeam is also built on. And which is great because Substrate has a libraries of like building blocks that you can put together like Lego to assemble these things. We've had to build some custom ones for this project, but we're also reusing some from Moonbeam as well. Now, when it comes to restaking, well, how does that come into the picture? So with EigenLayer and these node operators, so they're bringing some amount of crypto economic security, but in the Eigen protocol, everyday users and holders of, say, staked ETH can go and restake it in EigenLayer and earn additional staking rewards from securing applications through EigenLayer. And the way you do this is you restake your staked ETH with a particular operator, and then they decide what, it's kind of up to them which services they're going to support. And they earn rewards from running those nodes and earning rewards, which are then a portion is distributed to the users that are restaking their assets through them. And so with DataHaven, you'll be able to restake ETH. You'll also be able to stake the Have token, for which is DataHaven's native gas token and the token used to pay for storage. And you will also, for our Moonbeam community, they'll be able to restake Glimmer. So they'll be able to get stake Glimmer on the through Stellar protocol, Stellar Swap on Moonbeam. You get the LST stake Glimmer, and then you'll be able to bridge that over to Ethereum and deposit it into the Eigen contracts or to delegate it to an operator, and then you'll be able to earn Have rewards on that.
Thanks for breaking that out, Aaron. Something that I really want to kind of dive into a bit is maybe a little bit on the less technical side, but like why is data haven important? Why is decentralized storage important? And then somebody was asking, it was Sean from FiDi asking about the Seco experiment that that he likes to bring up all the time. I think that that experiment really does put into perspective what the risks are with having your data being leaked on AI platforms. So I'd really love to go into that direction. If you can talk about that, please.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind
Oh,
of more
sure.
the technical side, but yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah.
So, I mean, I can even take on the experiment thing. So, what Seco always asks, and Seco's our head of ecosystem over at Moonbeam and also ecosystems on DataHaven. The experiment is, everybody has this AI assistant that they use. I'm sure everyone has a ChatGPT tab that they kind of reference every single day and have this ongoing conversation with. And the challenge is to go to that tab, go to that conversation, and ask it if you were going to create like a complex phishing attack or something to compromise me, you yourself, the user, how would they do this? And then you start to see how much information this AI agent really has on you and how it knows everything about your life. Because we all use AI agents for, emails, for conversations, for recipes, for, grocery lists, for gym workouts. These AI agents know so much about us. And if that information gets leaked, if the storage where that information is compromised, so much of our personal information gets out and it creates a really huge problem. That's kind of like one of the main reasons that having this tamper-proof, censorship-resistant storage on DataHaven is so important.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's many when it comes to AI, right? There's a lot of aspects to this, right? So number one is just like I think obviously I think one of the things you're talking about is my data and myself controlling it. So I think longer term, I think it's probably likely that there'll be more and more people running sort of local models and where the data you allow the local model to access your data, but only sort of temporarily and in a way where you continue to own that data and as to without it sort of leaking, perhaps retraining the models or being used sort of in some way that could be harmful to you. So there's certainly that, and then keeping that data private. And so that's where that's certainly one aspect where DataHaven can help. So it can be, and we're experimenting right now with building a service for AI agents that can serve as the memory service for your interactions with DataHaven. So rather than those being stored in some Web 2 backend, those themselves could be stored in DataHaven. It's a difficult engineering problem. I won't get into all the details of that, but just because it's updated very frequently, so we have to kind of build a service on top. But that's certainly, yeah, we want to keep that data safe and encrypted in DataHaven where you have control and how it's used. So that's certainly one side of it. The other side is like around data sets. I mean, I think as everyone is probably aware, we live in a world where it's getting very tricky to know what's real, what's true, what's fact. And I think we'll likely see down the road where just as there's been misinformation campaigns through social media and so forth to influence people, it's likely that data sources will also be modified in a way to try to interfere with how these AI work and how they evaluate information. And so you could see a world in longer term where especially certain data sets and so forth, you want to have them stored somewhere, which are they might be publicly accessible, they might not. There might be sort of permissions around them, but then the AI agents or models that are accessing them, that they know that this data hasn't been tampered with, and hasn't been tampered with, so that they can rely on its accuracy. And then lastly, of course, the models themselves. I mean, you could see a world where, I want to know that for sure that I'm using a model that hasn't been a published model that hasn't been modified in some way that that I'm not expecting that might give me results that I'm not very happy with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's really a lot of different facets, and in this sort of AI world that we found ourselves, that DataHaven can help solve these problems.
Yeah, I have a friend that's really into photography, and we were actually just having a conversation about this last weekend. Is like with AI being able to create any image, how can you prove, real ownership over an image that you created that wasn't done by AI?
Yeah,
The only way is centralized storage. It's the only way is DataHaven. Like you need blockchains.
Yeah, you need blockchains for sure. I've been thinking about this for a long time, actually, and it seems to me that, and I think there's people working on this, but I mean, it definitely needs to be stronger linked to, private keys and this kind of thing. But on your devices, really, there should be something where there's some sort of cryptographic signature being generated every time you take a picture, you take a video, or whatever, where you could prove that, down the road, given a specific image, you could say, no, that, was, I could say, hey, I took that picture and it, came from this phone and all this kind of thing, right? And then you could publish that on a blockchain and be able to verify it. And I think that's going to be increasingly important. I mean, I don't even know now when I'm like, I don't even know on social media. It's like, is this even, my first question is this real?
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff being put out there.
I think it has to be even more than just a cryptographic information, because we have metadata. We have metadata on all these photos, but it's not linked to
You
a
can
blockchain.
modify it. You can change it.
Yeah. I think it has to be like phones or devices will have to be integrated with blockchain, kind of like the Solana phone.
Right. It has to
And
happen
then-
right at the phone layer, exactly. Like
Yeah.
right at the device layer, it's going to be built right in.
Yeah. It's a really crazy time if you think about it. Same thing with music. Like I was just tinkering with this one website that creates AI songs, and you could just write some lyrics, plug in a YouTube link of like a song that you like, and it'll start creating music based on that like reference. And you can make a song within like 5 minutes, right? So like, where does that leave actual artists that spend their entire lives, learning instruments and writing lyrics in this type of
Absolutely.
world? Yeah.
Absolutely. But you kind of wonder though, if we turn off like humans stop producing new stuff, then like won't the AI just start recycling same old ideas? I mean, I suppose the music industry gets accused of that as it is, but I feel like that would get compounded, right, with AI if we don't keep producing new stuff. But yeah, it's just so easy now to create this stuff, right? Or anything you need if you have a slide deck, you need like and stuff. It's just so much quicker. It's self-service, 24 hours a day. You can go. You don't have to wait for somebody to go and make the art for you, right? So it's so convenient, but at the same time, we're sort of removing that human element.
Every time I think of any limitation to AI, I then remember that AI is always going to keep improving. And you can even see the quality of stuff that AI has been producing since ChatGPT came out. What is it like? Didn't they come out last year? Right. And like now we have, images that look as realistic as possible. We have videos coming out. What was Google's new like engine? VEO3, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's making crazy videos, like videos about like biblical times, like Moses going to parting the Red Sea and like interviewing Moses as if he's like an influencer. And then they'll go over to like the Egyptian chariot riders, like, hey, how does it feel knowing that the oceans are parted right now? He's like, bro, this is crazy. And these videos are insane. I can't. It's a really crazy time to be alive right now. All things considering. But kind of going back to on topic with DataHaven, some people were asking kind of about some timelines of, I know we have StageNet currently live, something about testnet, mainnet, and like what people can do on either one of those.
Sure. Yeah. No. Great question. So StageNet is operational now. We are just. It's okay. So when it comes to DataHaven, there's sort of two really big parts to it. One is the execution layer, that's with the EVM and producing blocks, and then the other piece is the peer-to-peer storage network. So in StageNet right now, we have the execution layer running and producing blocks and integrated with a Ethereum environment that we've stood up in our staging environment. We have started adding the storage network elements to it. There's different kinds of nodes. There's backup storage providers and main storage providers, and I get more into that if you guys want. So we're just starting to add that stuff in now. It's a private environment designed for us to do some testing and start to generate documentation and just make sure that everything is working. And then shortly thereafter, we'll start assembling the public test net, which should be available in I think early to mid September. And around that time frame, the storage features will kind of they may not everything will be available right away, but you should be able to at least go and store and retrieve files. But some of the other interesting integrations that I mentioned earlier, particularly for AI agents, probably come a little bit later, sort of like September, October sort of time frame. And then mainnet right now is targeted for mid-November. So it's a pretty quick timeline. It's pretty accelerated. There's not a lot of time between public testnet and mainnet. So really hoping that we'll get a lot of folks that can come and help us test the testnet and provide feedback and so forth. But really excited. I mean, the how quickly this project has been progressing has just really been amazing, and just getting back substrate and how it's like putting Lego bricks together. I mean, a lot of this, is because of that, is because we've been able to take pieces that were assembled before. I mean, I don't want to minimize the work that's going on, because there's a lot of stuff we've had to build as well, like from scratch. But we've been able to reuse, Moonbeam. We've been able to reuse VM stuff. We've been able to reuse like a bunch of stuff from Polkadot, including how their validators work and that kind of thing. We've been able to reuse, in fact, the storage network itself. Some of those things hadn't reached production yet, but were developed last year, like in 2023 and late 2023, early 2024. So we've really been able to reuse a lot of things, and then we've had to build out the eigenlayer integration, various things like that, and just kind of assemble it. But when you think about it, like a lot of, I know like dApps and those can be built pretty quick. I mean, you can just copy pasta, smart contracts and front ends. But when it comes to building a layer one, I think this is probably one of the faster ones that I'm aware of in terms of from beginning to end, just because of the amazing technology that we've been able to leverage to build it. So anyway, so mainnet mid-November, public testnet mid-September. That's the long and the short of it.
Nice. Thanks for going through that. I keep wanting to ask, is it fun to build DataHaven? But like, I don't know if that's a weird question.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, unfortunately, unfortunately, I don't actually I don't code on DataHaven, but I work very closely with the lead engineers project, as well as our head of product, Piotr, who helps drive the requirements and so forth. And obviously, we're meeting regularly, and I'm reviewing sort of the technical architecture of that. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of really interesting engineering problems related to this. I mean, just get the whole thing around how do you do decentralized, reason why, and if an EVM blockchain can store data. I mean, you can store data, and it does. It stores balance chain state, and so you can. But it doesn't make sense to shove massive files, or even reasonable, songs. I mean, you store enough of them, and that's all in the chain state, and it gets huge, and you have to replicate that to all nodes around the world. It just doesn't make sense at all, and your network would just grind to a halt. So you have to figure out some way to store the data in an off-chain way, but still that is decentralized and verifiable. You can prove that the peer-to-peer network that stores the data, all the nodes are challenged constantly to provide proof of storage for some random chunk of some file, to make sure that they actually still have it, and that it's still that it hasn't been tampered with, and to verify its integrity. So the engineering challenges are really fun, and it's a great group. A lot of engineers from around the world and from different backgrounds. So it is a lot.
Yeah. I keep trying to remember that example that was used at our offsite for why this censorship resistance is important. Is the analogy with like a rogue government one still a good example?
Yeah,
I can kind of talk about that.
Look, there's all kinds of, I'm sure, and depending what part of the world you're in, there's all kinds of misinformation being created from governments, and there's information they're trying to suppress. And I think, there's a very valid use case wanting to put that data somewhere where it cannot be it can't be removed and by some central actor, right? So even if you store your data with like S3 or something in Amazon, if let's say you're like Julian Assange, right, and you're WikiLeaks or something, and you're like, oh, I'm going to shove this all in Amazon S3, and then the American government's like, well, we don't like this information being there, and they go and they ask Bezos to like, and he's going to do it. He's going to remove it, right? Like he's going to shut it down. So, you need this censorship resistant platform where that data can live, and it's replicated. There's many copies of it replicated around the world for safekeeping.
Yeah, I'm seeing some really good questions in the chat. One came from Punches. He was kind of asking like, what's the biggest technical bottleneck for DataHaven to overcome?
I think the biggest technical bottleneck is probably right now file deletion is actually, that sounds easy, but it's kind of, there are some wrinkles to it that make it not as easy as you would think. So there's that aspect. And then the other thing is like updating data. So it's really good at storing data, but like updating a file, like every time it's like there's a blockchain transaction that's needed. And so we're looking at different models where, and we'll probably end up moving to a model where it's actually, you add a new copy, and then it's a previous version, the old previous version, and you could probably just roll off versions kind of thing. So it's really around those, like trying to make those operations, or if I have a lot of data, if I batch, like upload like a bunch of files, like let's say I want to upload my photo collection or what have you, then how do you do that efficiently? So getting the data in and out in an efficient way is one of the challenges, I would say. We have really great engineers working on this, and I think but it is one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah. Somebody else was asking about if there's going to be any protections for, I don't know, bad actors, illegal content, malicious code or something.
That's a very good question. There's obviously some content that I think probably most people could agree isn't awesome to have posted in the world. And so that is an extremely good question of how we're going to manage that. And I would say that right now, the DataHaven Foundation is not very interested in releasing content. And so we are looking at a few different options. But one of the amazing other things that we get from the sort of substrate world, the Moonbeam world, is a very mature and flexible on-chain governance mechanism. And so I think right now what we're thinking is we will create governance tracks and then have probably some sort of elected council of representatives where takedown requests can be directed and then voted by that council, which would be made up of individuals from a variety of sort of backgrounds and around the world and that kind of thing, so that it's not sort of slanted in one direction or the other. But it's a very difficult problem to solve. I mean, one of the things with a decentralized service like this, like obviously if it's the case where hey, you just can't remove it, like it's not removable. Like for example, like the Tornado Cash contracts, right? They can't, they threw away the key. Like nobody can remove it from Ethereum. So you kind of like to be in a situation like that, except for when it's like, well, what if there's like just really, really terrible, something really awful, like I'm sure you guys can imagine, like child like this, like put on there, like it's not a good look, right? Obviously, so you probably need some sort of way to deal with that. And right now, I think we're thinking some sort of decentralized governance mechanism for managing that. If people have any ideas around this, would love to hear them. Because we haven't completely finalized that, and it is a really tough question because on the one hand, you don't want to. I mean, we don't want to get into a case where it's just like, well, just because someone's politics differs from somebody else's, like it gets taken down, kind of.
Well, I don't think like Google Cloud or AWS police content or moderate. I think the issue, I mean, this is my personal opinion, it isn't about the content stored, it's about the discoverability and access to that content. So I think like if we can definitely control the front end search, of how to access that content, but on the back
Yeah,
end.
I mean, there would be some of that too, because the just getting back to the types of storage nodes that there are. Again, there are backup storage providers which keep your data, like replicants of the data, safe, and then there are ones called main storage providers which provide the access to them. And so, if you're running a backup storage provider, you don't need to worry about bandwidth and that kind of thing because you're not serving up the files directly. But the main storage providers provide that like downloadability and search and indexing and all that kind of thing. So it could be that also that a main storage provider would just not be interested in storing your data for you, kind of thing. Like that is a possibility as well. Of course, people can always launch their own main storage provider. But yeah, I mean, I think Neil, you're right. It's a little bit about accessibility and that kind of thing. But I think it is the case that Google, they won't police, but if they receive a takedown request from, some sort of legal authority, they'll do it, kind of thing, or they'll shut down an account if need be.
Yeah.
It's a tricky area for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. I keep thinking about it because for anyone in the audience that didn't know, like I used to work at OpenSea, and we had a content moderator. He was actually an attorney, and he would moderate the content that's going through OpenSea and review it, and he'd be the one that's taking things down. And it's a really tough job to see all that stuff on a daily basis. It really kind of eats away at you. So, well, I mean, if we're working with AI, I mean, we're going to more of a theoretical perspective, just having a conversation. There should be an AI that can like moderate this for us, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea as well. I mean, if you wanted to actively have something reviewing, I suppose, we might just rely on it getting reported, but I mean, certainly AI could be helpful. That's for sure. I mean, I'm sure we'll see what policies like people like Arweave and Filecoin have around this kind of thing as well. Just to understand if they're just like completely hands-off thing or what, and because I'm sure they also probably have great lawyers over there.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
Okay, I'm looking through the chat to see for more questions. I think a lot of them we actually got through. So DataHaven's also going to be a regular blockchain that can like a contract execution blockchain, right? So
Yeah,
people can also build on top of DataHaven. By the way,
absolutely. I mean,
we should
even though
call
we're
our
focused on,
sorry,
sorry,
we
go
should
ahead.
call our testnet BetaHaven.
Yeah, yeah, DataHaven. I like it. No, that's a great point, Neil. I mean, a couple of things I would say there. So number one, one of the really cool things about having that execution environment is that it will be possible to have some interaction between sort of the data side and the smart contracts, which is pretty useful. In fact, one of the ways that we're looking at expressing access control. So if I want to make content available to others, like sometimes you just want to make it public, but sometimes you want to make it private, encrypted just for you. But there's other instances where you may want to share it with like other specific people. And so one of the ways we're looking at doing that is by, I would give, let's say I want to share something with you, is I would give you an NFT. Like there's an NFT collection that controls anyone who has the NFT has, and it would be non-transferable, so it'd be a soul bound. So that's a really interesting sort of way you can see the execution environment, the smart contract environment, and the storage layer working together. But yeah, it is a general purpose EVM, permissionless. So yeah, you could deploy a DEX on it. You could deploy, games. You could deploy anything you could deploy on Moonbeam. Pretty much, you can deploy on DataHaven. Of course, on Moonbeam, you're able to deploy things that interact with other parachains on Polkadot. So you wouldn't have that, but then again, there's going to be a native bridge between DataHaven as well, so where you can transfer assets back and forth.
Just to touch on that bridge, what makes native trustless bridge so important or so valuable? Like, what's the difference between like other bridges in that?
Yeah, great question. So firstly, so it's native in the sense that it is built directly into the layer one protocol, and so for it to work, it's like to get into kind of the technical weeds. The transactions really a cross-chain bridging transaction is only complete when it's been finalized on blocks, and it's built directly into the protocol itself. So the finalization protocol on both Moonbeam and DataHaven. So it would be extremely like unless there's like a bug in the code itself, right? I mean, it's not something that can be manipulated, and it's not controlled by uh, people. It's not controlled by a multi-sig or anything like that. It's the protocol itself. So I mean, you would have to basically take over one of the networks to do an export or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of the native, and it's trustless. There are relayers that relay the transactions, but they can't modify your transaction because the cryptography would, like, if they try to manipulate it, wouldn't be accepted, kind of thing. So the relayers, all they can do is vary the messages back and forth. They can't monkey with them at all. So it's should be very, very secure. The other bridges, it really varies. There's a wide variety of different kinds of bridges, but most of the major GMP protocols, at the end of the day, there's probably some council of individuals that can get in there and monkey with a set of keys or something. I think we're as the guardian, that kind of thing. I think Axelar has been working on their what's it called? I can't remember the name of it, but they're trying a new architecture where they have a bunch of decentralized nodes that are running it, and the amplifier, I think is what it's called, or something. So anyway, yeah, we're really proud of that technology. We borrowed that from Polkadot, but between Moonbeam and DataHaven, it relies on them using the same quote unquote finality gadget. And then for the one between DataHaven and Ethereum, it's a little bit different because it's not built directly into Ethereum. There are smart contracts on the side, but it's a really well thought out design where, again, it's trusted and native on at least the data.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know about that stuff. Can we sidetrack for 1 second and give a little excitement? So we just passed 10K members in the server, and our X channel is at 17,000 followers
That's
now. And
amazing.
I'm gonna do a quick check on Telegram. I know Telegram was zooming earlier also. Let's see, we are at 4,300 members on Telegram. So yeah, so the project's growing really quickly. I mean, I think people are starting to get a good idea of why DataHaven's important and kind of the impact it can have on the space. Oh yeah, there we go. The bot on the left side just finally updated. We're at 10,100 members in Discord.
10,100. Holy, that's
Yeah, it's great.
yeah.
It's crazy to think that I started the server. I boosted the server to 14 boosts on January 21st. I was just looking at it, and it was a really slow growth until April, where we hit 500 people, and then it's kind of been growing really rapidly from there. But over the last day, even since this morning, I think we have 2,000 or 3,000 new members. I think 3,000 new members coming in.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so there is this term in the light paper that I keep thinking about, and it's because I don't know, I find it funny, but like Merkle tree forests, Merkle, fuck, what
Yeah.
are they called?
Yeah, Merkle tries and forests and all these kinds of things.
Yeah. And at first, when I read it, I thought we were just being like cute and doing a reference to like the Haven, you know, like and forests and trees, but it's this actual thing, right?
This is an actual thing. Yeah.
So what are they, and if you know, like why did they get named that? Like who came up with this name?
I actually don't know why it's called Merkle. I assume probably a person in computer science, and I should probably know. So maybe that's a bit of homework for me to go and figure out. But at at the end of the day, like pretty much any other sort of hashing function, right? Like what happens is, you have something like an image, and then you can generate this hash for it, where the hash doesn't have all the image data, it's smaller, right? But
Yeah.
you can prove that, like, given the image, you can prove that it has the same hash as the hash that you. I mean, so the way when files are added to DataHaven, as I mentioned, the files themselves are not stored in the chain data. What is stored in chain data is, in a way, anyway, is the hash of the file. So we Merkleize the file, and we get the hash for it, and then we store those in trees of hashes. So for a bunch of files, and then for like over when you're considering whole buckets, file systems and so forth, those things you have a whole bunch of trees that get put into like a forest, so a group of trees, and then all of those things are hashed along the way until you have sort of the root of them all of the forest. So like the root that descends to all the trees and everything like that, and it's that root of the forest that is actually stored on chain. And so you know for a fact that, like, if any of the files don't match, then it's not that now the root's going to be screwed up too. So yeah, it is very complex. I'll admit that even for myself, I like don't know that aspect inside and out. I know, conceptually. So when the engineers are explaining this to me, but that's kind of where that all comes from, and it's just a really intelligent way of still being able to have, like, we can challenge anyone who's claiming to store a particular file. We can challenge them to produce a hash for a specific chunk of that file at random. So we'll just pick a random file, random chunk, and challenge them, and they have to provide this hash, and then we can compare it to what's on the chain to make sure that it matches, so that we can be sure that they actually have it.
Yeah. I still like the name of Merkle Forest Trees. Shit, I keep forgetting it.
Yeah, I feel like we should have like a Merkle, like character or something. Sounds like
Yeah,
a really like nerdy guy or something.
I think Sabrina's in the audience, so we should name somebody Merkle. Um, maybe one of the animals. Somebody in the chat, his name Sub-Zero, he asked, are we planning any kind of real world integrations or different sectors like healthcare? I think Ryan was talking to somebody in healthcare recently. I don't know if that kind of came over to you.
Yeah, I mean, it is,
Or
that's sort of more Ryan's and Alex's side of things, but yeah, I mean, healthcare is certainly one. I mean, AI is being used, so I think that's a huge focus, obviously, and where we could see inroads in a number of different verticals. But yeah, I think there'll be more news around that in the coming sort of weeks or months
yeah,
from Ryan's side.
yeah, I know Ryan's been
I know
preparing
some of the
his like
discussions too. I don't want to like, I don't know where they are like, in terms of how
yeah.
to.
All I know is that Ryan's been working on a very big list of launch partners and going through them, and I think starting to reach out to them. So it's going to be exciting when we can actually talk about them and post about them.
Absolutely.
I know we are getting close to end of time, and I mean we can keep going for as long as you want, but
Well, I
the
actually
audience
I
really.
actually have a call at the top of the hour. So.
Oh, sorry.
But
Okay, so I guess we can
that's
keep
okay.
going. Um, I'm always pressured from the community to ask the people on stage if there's any information you could like leak, any alpha or something that's kind of worked around that maybe we didn't post about on X yet. Sorry, Sabrina. Um, so
Some alpha, eh? I'm trying to think what I know that we haven't posted. Well, I mean, I think I don't think we've talked about this memory service. I mentioned it earlier, but this sort of higher order service that AI agent frameworks can hook to as a backend for it. Like right now, if you have an AI agent, Eliza or something,
mhm.
then what you do is you configure a database to store the memories, so the conversation details and that kind of thing. And so we've started work designing a service where you could plug that in, and ultimately those things, it's still got to be performant and really fast, and like basically have a database, but then those memories can be encrypted and stored securely and tamper-proof and so forth and privately on DataHaven back end. So that's something we haven't talked about. It's still in the very early, but that's something, because we're always looking at how can we different angles for how we can really optimize for AI agents and use cases.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. I want to share some more. I don't know if this is an alpha leak because we've already talked about this, but I just want a reminder for all the new people in the room or the ones that maybe missed the post on X. Summer is here, and we're all going to camp. We're all going to Camp Haven a little bit later on in the summer. So make sure you have, you're already part of Discord. Most of you are probably in Telegram. Make sure you have notifications on for X. I'm going to share the tweet in the chat again. Maybe it's about Camp Haven. It's a huge project we're working on. Has to do with RTG, with the half token that's coming up. So really highly recommend everybody puts on notifications and keeps track of what we're posting on X, because a lot of the information goes out first on X unless you're on stage here, and sometimes I can pressure my teammates into giving us something juicy. But kind of on that note, Aaron, listen, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come hang out with us and talk to us. The audience, there's 216 of us. That's kind of where we peaked, and this was a lot of fun. I knew we didn't have to really prepare much. We can kind of just wing this call. So I'm glad it all worked out well.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. I hope it was interesting for people. Like I said, I'm coming at it more from the engineering side rather than the business side. So I know it's getting into the weeds and that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope it was interesting for you guys, and happy to do it anytime we're down on this stuff. So
Awesome. Well, I think that's a good time to kind of close this off and give you a couple minutes before your next call. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. Thank you to all the new people that are coming into the OGs. Shout out to the Moose Door holders, the ones with the fancy, cool roles. You guys are awesome. And of course, shout out and love to the community team that's been hard at work moderating all the chats here, and as they've been kind of going off. I know Jiang, our moderator in Indonesia, has been hard at work moderating the Indonesian chat. It's been going off like crazy. I think we even raised the slowdown speed to 30 seconds, and it's still kind of hard to keep up. So everybody have a great day, have a good night, and thank you so much for joining us. Lots of love from the Haven.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thanks so much.